gentlemen, Dameon Nelson coming to you here with Rowdy Piper, a true legend here in Milwaukee. Roddy, welcome to Milwaukee. Tell us a little bit about what you think of our fine city so far. You've only been here for about an hour, but
no, but
you've been here before.
Oh yes, I've been in some of the finest places in Milwaukee. The jail. I know. Milwaukee's, first of all,
they built a new one though.
They built a new one. I haven't been to that one yet.
Right up the road.
Yeah, the other one, my initials are carved in it. But this is Crusher Country.
Oh yeah.
And when I was starting, roll out the barrels, and at Christmas time, which it is, you used to have a Christmas tree with beer cans hanging, dashing through the beer cans. And you gotta love the Crusher, But the Crusher's gone on, and he's made his reputation, and I hope he's enjoying his life, and that's what happens with a lot of wrestlers until today. We got a big problem with wrestling, and I'm here to fix it.
And we'll get into that just a little later.
Sure.
XWF is the reason you're here. They're coming to town on December 29th, right here in this very building, the U.S. Cellular Arena. And let's talk about your beginnings.
Okay.
Just before the Masked Canadian, which Frank had to tell me about. We've done a little research.
I guess you have.
How did you get involved in wrestling at the young age of 15?
I'll tell you exactly what happened. I lived in youth hostels from the time I was 13 to 15, and I won the 167 Amateur Wrestling Championship, and I was Golden Gloves champion, and the coach, somebody just didn't show up in the Winnipeg Arena, and he says, you can give me $25 to fight this guy. So sure, $25, it cost a quarter for the youth hospital. I'm going, $25, that's all. Okay, that's rent for a year. So they give me $25, and I come in, and this is exactly what happened. I come in, and the guy's name was Larry Henning. He was 320 pounds.
Did he have an axe?
He had an axe, yeah. Hair coming out of his ears, his nose, fire spitting. And you got to understand, this is the Winnipeg Arena, so my pipe band, I came 5th in the world playing the bagpipes. And my pipe band said, we'll play you in. Now, I'd never seen a professional wrestling match, but never. And I had asked my buddies, what's going on? So, to be honest with you, I went to a hotel and stole a little wicker basket, and I put my kilt on. Borrowed. Thank you very much. Thank you. Borrowed a little wicker basket, and I didn't have any money, so I put dandelions in it. And my pipe band played me too. So there's Larry Henning. At that time there was no music or nothing. Yeah. So there's Larry Henning like this. And I'm 167, with pimples. And, and here I'm coming down the hill with a whole pipe band. He's going, I'm being upstaged here. So I think it was my first world record in history of wrestling. The match lasted 10 seconds. Now, you got to figure 1, 2, 3, to get pinned. So I lasted 7. And he hit me so hard, I went between the ropes, and just because he's a nice man and didn't want me to hit the floor, I'm sure, he grabbed me by the hair. Up I came, axed me, broke my nose, and I sat in the dressing room. Oh, yeah, he axed me good. I sat in the dressing room, and I was sitting down, and in those days they had like penny loafers. I don't know if you guys remember this. They had like penny loafers, and this.
I've heard about them.
Right, yeah. Dating myself. So I'm down there, and I'm 15, and I see these penny loafers. I thought that it was a promoter, and I thought the guy was going to duke me out of my $25. And he said,
"Do they do that, promoters?"
Oh, I'll tell you a story about that too. I learned how to combat him. And he said, "Kid, you did great. How'd you like to go to Kansas City?" And I'm making this up. I wish I was clever enough. I said, "Is Larry Henning there?" No, I don't want to go there. But he said, no, we won't overmatch you. They put me in the back of a car, a Lincoln Mark IV, and they took me over the border, and they just said it was my son, his son rather. And I fought I was a ringer in tough man contests, and I wrestled. And when I was 19, I won the light heavyweight championship of the world in the Olympic Auditorium. And then they got me a green card and let me pay taxes. God bless you for that. And that's exactly how I got started. It was just a mistake, and I was so afraid as a kid. I have a grade 8 education, and I was too afraid I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I think that was the drive. I needed to make it. It was like a little family I had found, my little dysfunctional family. George the Animal Steel, Andre, Andre, what do you think of pi r squared? No, pi r round, cornbread r squared. Yeah, thank you, Andre. Yeah, cornbread r squared. And that's how I got in it.
Cool. And then we saw you progress to Mid-Atlantic, I believe, and then on to the NWA.
Well, I went from there I wrestled in maybe I was in Memphis, Moncton, Quebec, Dallas, Amarillo, Milwaukee,
this very building.
Yeah, this very building. Let me see, just a second.
You've been to Mecca.
Mecca, that's right.
Yep.
God bless you, man.
Yep.
You did your homework. Mecca, and then I went to Houston, and then finally in Los Angeles I got a break. And that's where I won the light heavyweight championship of the world. And then I left from there, went to Portland. From Portland, I stayed 3 years, went to Hawaii. From Hawaii back to Portland. From Portland to Charlotte, North Carolina. And then from Charlotte, North Carolina, I worked Charlotte and Atlanta at the same time. And that was the first time they wanted to take over the world. And it was a guy named Jim Barnett. And he got scared because a guy in Chicago... He got scared. I'll tell you the truth. Because he had a friend in Chicago that didn't want him to invade the rest of the country because there was a code. So he backed off. And that's when Vince McMahon Sr. called me, and he called all the rebels, and he was very smart. He called and he says, you know, you're the chosen one, you know. Then he calls the next guy, you're the chosen one. You know, he calls it, you're the chosen one. All of a sudden you had a huge building full of chosen ones, but none of us were. Just only one guy was the chosen one, you know. So it was really cutthroat back then. And I think with WrestleMania, why it got over so big is I refused to take a dive for Mr. T in WrestleMania 1. I refused to take a dive for Hogan in the War to Settle the Score, and I refused to take a dive for T in WrestleMania 2. And there's a business reason why I did that. I wasn't just being a jerk. Although my wife says I'm the best jerk in the world when I want to be. You know.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. You know, my wife's 4'11 and a half, 100 pounds. You know, I'm the only thing I'm afraid of is God and her. You know.
Let's talk a little bit about, and I guess we'll fast forward here.
Sure.
And well, no, actually, I'll be.
My water. Yeah. No, go ahead, man. I'm used to TV.
Let's talk about Ric Flair.
Oh,
The NWA days.
He got me in more trouble, man. Oh, God bless you. He got me in more trouble. He would take me over like this. I got blackballed. Barnett blackballed me. That was the third time. Excuse me, folks. I'm old. I'm a grandfather. God bless you. I just got hey, Roddy Piper. You know me.
It's dry up here in Milwaukee.
It's dry up. Yeah.
It's a little
it's dry.
brisk.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. What'd you ask me?
We were talking about Ric Flair and how he got you in so much trouble.
That's why I blocked it out. He would do things like this. Ric Flair. Oh boy. Okay. Maybe 200 times I've seen this. Ric Flair would be taking red eyes. Pipes, he says.
We got to tell everybody what that means.
Oh,
that's a late flight.
Red eye is a flight that you take maybe at midnight and you fly all night to the west, from West Coast or East Coast. Flair would go, he says, hey, Pipes, what do you think? Rick, I don't. Come on, Pipes, what do you think? He called me the John Wesley Harding of wrestling. What do you think, Pipes? I don't care, Rick. So here comes Rick. He goes in the can of the bathroom. He's always got immaculate suits on. He takes his suit off. Now he's buck naked there, and he does whatever he does in that bathroom. Then he puts his robe on, and then he comes out and serves everybody drinks.
On the airplane?
On the airplane, yeah. From coach to first class, serves everybody drinks. You know, and he's woo. What do you think, Pipes? What do you think, Pipes? Listen, Rick, I've saw this 200 times, okay? I've seen your penis more than your wife, okay? All right? I don't want to see it no more. And then he would always pit me against people, whether it was a fight or whether it was a drinking contest in those days, and I didn't know he was throwing the kamikazes over his shoulder. I was drinking mine, and he'd come in San Juan, and he'd go, 99 kamikazes, John Wesley Harding's here. Oh, gee. You know, so I left the liver there. And Santa Domingo, one time he got me there. He got me in Santa Domingo to protect him, and I just got to do this fast because I don't want to take all your time up. Santa Domingo, so we're there, and it's martial law there. And so there was a general, and the president of the country's kid was there. And we were getting ready, Rick and I went out, and this guy come out in the ring, and we thought it was a second. He was like this, you know, and he's a wrestler? You know, and so Rick, you know, comes in and snatches him, starts slapping around. The little kid starts crying. The two generals beside him with the swirlies on the hat get up and start going, patting their guns. The guards that were guarding us had sticks this long with little chains like this. They start beating me. And I didn't hit him, he hit him. So, you know, in a riot, the first thing you do is you get a chair up, you know? So boom, boom, boom. Finally, we get back to the dressing room, and Rick and I are in a corner, huddled like this in a corner, like, you know, in the fetal position, you know. Here comes rocks. There's no windows. Here comes rocks flying in, you know. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. They stole all our jewelry, our Halliburtons, and I go, so, Rick, what should we do now? You know? Well, Pipes.
Did he whip it out again?
Yeah. Not now. We're alone, Rick. You know? So eventually they got a chartered plane and they got us out of there. But I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
But I want to, with Ric Flair, he is the consummate professional. He is one of the biggest names in the history of professional wrestling, and I have all the respect for him in the world, and he's a wonderful man.
Changing gears here.
Sure.
Move on to the World Wrestling Federation days.
Yeah.
You worked a solid program with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper, all that other gravy, if you will.
Yes.
But what was going through your mind, being the top heel, the most hated wrestler 2 years in a row, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and having people absolutely just hate your guts? How did that make you feel? And how did the Hogan angle play out for you?
Okay, that's a good question, because that had terrible repercussions for me later on. When like people would do things like I kicked Cyndi Lauper, and you know what? I was told this 20 minutes before I went out to the ring. Cyndi Lauper was coming in, and I kicked her in the head. And this guy comes up to me from the WWF office, and he says, the end of her career could be the beginning of your career.
Really?
So now I'm out there in the ring, and I'm going, and I turn. You can see me pull the kick. I just couldn't do it. It's just, let's try talent.
There's a line.
Yeah, there's a line, But you asked me a good question. Oh, I know what you're saying. So, I'm dumber, 7,000 pro fights, man. Dumber than a punch. This is what happens. Is when I'd go places and, they would turn up, girls just want to have fun and stuff. If I went to a shopping plaza, I was fair sized then, and not too many people wanted to, unless they were drunk, wanted to mess with me. But my wife and my little daughter would be 2 years old at that time. We drove under Providence, Rhode Island, and the guy's name was Al Knowing, Knowing. You won't find him in the phone book. And whatever. So So what happened was. He says, "Where's your ticket?" Well, we drove under, and she says, "Well, I don't, I'm Roddy Piper's wife. I hate Roddy Piper." So he grabbed her on the bottom floor, took her all the way up, and threw her outside with my baby. And now she's outside, and nobody's going to believe her that she's my wife. And the Moondogs at that time, she was back out. She was crying, and they said, "You better get out there. There's something going on." And so let me just kind of progress, because this is very interesting, actually. What happened was my oldest daughter had to go to school at that time. Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, I was a Gaddafi of wrestling at that time. Yeah. What I didn't realize, I don't come from a famous family. I use that word lightly. And I didn't realize that every kid came up to her, "Hey, your dad's a fag. Your dad wears a skirt. Your dad, da-da-da." All her life. And so when she got to be about 16 and a half, she ran away from home.
Really?
Yes, sir. And I had to go out, and I found her. And
all this while being on the road, too, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. And because through the whole school, every school, even the teachers. One time in the school, the teachers are going, that started the class, he said, "Well, I saw Roddy Piper and Mr. T and Hulk Hogan on the TV, and Roddy Piper got the dog knocked out of him." This is how he starts his class. Now, one of my daughters, this isn't the same daughter as in there, she's got, at that time, she had tuberculosis of the right foot and braces on. What's your point? Yeah. So I come down. And I said, parent teacher. I just, I got the principal, and I got the guy in there, and I closed the door, and I put him against the wall, and I did a monologue. How do you like it? Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. And so I got them to stop that, but Stacia, I didn't realize it. And just to wind it up, I got a hold of her, and I got her in a place called Tranquility Bay in Jamaica, and it's a wonderful program, and another one in Montana. And now, last Friday, she told me I'm a grandfather. Oh. I'm gonna kill her. No, don't you ever say that again. I'm so happy for you, but I'm 47. But you know what? Because wrestling boomed like it did, there's a lot of things that we weren't aware of. Right. And that's one thing that
real big boom ever.
Big boom, yeah. And that's one of the things that I hold in my heart. I suppose if I have a shameful part of me, I would say that would be one of the bigger ones. Of course, I was pretty shameful before I was 15. But that one hurt a lot.
You made it.
Yeah, God takes care of fools and babies. So just so you know, they so serious. I've been stabbed 3 times, but so serious that they would jerk around with a little girl coming up.
Back her?
No. I got stabbed 1 inch from the heart. Boom, boom, and boom. Here, 3 different occasions. One in Raleigh, one in L.A.
I've heard about Raleigh. It's a rough part of town.
Yeah. No, this guy, I don't know. Well, I won't go into that story. And you ask the questions.
Well, actually, yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. We gotta rewind the tape here,
Gotcha.
and then we'll come back and we'll talk about WWF and your face turn, if you will.
Absolutely.
Adrian Adonis, WrestleMania 3.
God bless you.
All right.